Salutations, people of the internet, welcome to the database. You ever cringe at your early work? Every content creator has that feeling, whether it's an embarrassing picture of something on Instagram or the poor quality of a video you uploaded on YouTube. For me, it's kinda the latter. Don't get me wrong, I love what I upload on this channel. It lets me express my passion on a platform in a comfortable manner. But comparing the videos I upload nowadays to the ones where I started feels like a nice progression of how well my video editing quality has changed so far. One of my earliest videos on this channel are just gameplay footages of me playing a game with no commentary for the Database Network series. My first video was my review on the demo version of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Why the hell was I reviewing the demo? The second video would be kinda ambitious as I went out of my way of talking about the Sega Saturn. But the very first video game review that I can definitely confirm was the PlayStation 5 tech demo, Astro's Playroom, a platformer that celebrates the history of Sony and PlayStation, while also paying tribute to the different franchises that define the PlayStation. And it was a game that showcased the technological capabilities of the PlayStation 5's DualSense controller. While the quality of the video review was pretty okay, I just think it was a review that could have been done better. Hell, I might even go as far as to say I want to re-edit some of my old thumbnails. God, they look crappy. Well, in 2024, that opportunity showcased how much I've changed in my video editing and reviewing skills, as Sony and PlayStation announced a sort of full-size sequel to their successful tech demo, Astro Bot. Yes, I'm calling this a sequel to a tech demo, as this is essentially PlayStation giving Astro his true first time ever full-size adventure, something more grander than exploring the inner workings of the PlayStation 5. Plus, judging from what I've seen in the announcement trailer, there are different transformations, new gameplay styles, and even more PlayStation tribute references not seen in the first game. That's a full-blown sequel in my book, but does this sequel of an already free game deserve the full price of $60? Let's take a look at Wii Sports vs. Astro Bot. Can I say something before going over the game's premise? There has been interviews going around, as far as I've seen, regarding Sony and PlayStation being concerned about not having any IPs. Well, if there's anything that Astro Bot definitely proves Sony wrong, is that this game proudly acknowledges every single franchise that are or were exclusive to the PlayStation. The fact that they believe that they can't think of new games for the PlayStation 5 generation is kinda sad, as Sony letting countless franchises collect dust, waiting for a new game to be released. Yeah, you can buy their old games like Jak and Daxter's Trilogy or Sly Cooper on the PlayStation storefront, but we need something new. Take a look at this photograph of Team Asobi, the developers that worked on Astro Bot. You notice anything in this picture? The guys over the Team Asobi consists of passionate PlayStation fans that have well-known franchises over in Japan and the US. These aren't just video game developers, they're also video game fans like you and me. These are video game fans that know several different PlayStation franchises more than Sony Interactive themselves, and they were passionate enough to cram in as many references to as many PlayStation games as they could, even the franchises that aren't exclusive to them, like Street Fighter, Crash Bandicoot, and for God's sake, the Year of the Dragon, Spyro. The fact that Sony is saying that they don't have any franchises, and on their 30th anniversary nonetheless, is pathetic and downright sad. And I'm not mad at Sony, I'm just disappointed. So, rant over, back to the game. On a journey through space, spots a spaceship that's in the shape of a PlayStation 5. Inside the PlayStation 5 includes Astro and all of his other crewmates that look just like him. Suddenly, they come across a green alien named the Space Bully Nebulax, as the green alien starts attacking their PlayStation 5 ship and steal the ship's CPU. Our robot hero crash lands on a deserted planet and comes across one of their satellites. The satellite gains a signal of the missing robots and a lost part of the PS5 mothership, and so it's up to Astro to find all the robots and ship parts and stop Nebulax. After defeating each of the bosses in each galaxy, you'll able to travel to the planet that has one of the PS5's parts: the SSD, the GPU, the cooling fan, the memory, and the PS5's protective covers. What's cool about after getting all the PS5 parts back are the little sequences of restoring each part and putting them back together. It's like we're assembling our very own video game console. After the PS5 is restored, a portal that leads to Nebulax opens and we go after him in this cool on-rails third-person shooter sequence. We defeated the bully Nebulax and rescued the PS5 CPU, finally restoring the PS5, ending Astro's first big adventure. That is, if you manage to rescue all 300 robots. See, across the crash site planet, you can use some of the robots you rescued as little Pikmin. By that I mean you can use the robots to activate areas Astro couldn't get access to by himself. For this case, there is one more thing you can get in order to 100% complete the game, and get a sweet, easy platinum trophy. By collecting all 300 robots and collecting all the puzzle pieces that unlock different customization attractions for the game, you'll unlock the golden Astro Bot statue, where if you climb up on it, grants you the Grandmaster stage that tests all your skills and knowledge of the game, rescuing the last bot, increasing the total to 301.
But wait! There's more! Hang on to your seat, baby! Cause this one's a screamer!
Yeah, because after completing the game, I then found out through the internet that you can rescue 4 other secret robots found within a tech demo game, Astro's Playroom, where you can rescue these bots by doing riddle-based tasks, in which you can later save them at the crash site, finally increasing the total robot count from 300 to 301 to 305. That's a lot of robots, but for what Astro Bot represents, it's for a good reason. Mechanically, Astro has all of his moves from the previous game. He can hover for a short period of time with his laser feet. He can punch and whirlwind like Crash Bandicoot, pull on objects, and use variety of tools and other robotic transformations. In this game, Astro has new gadgets to play around with. No more the different transformations Astro can turn into just like in Playroom. To start things off, he can now swim. Wait, if he's a robot, how come he's not rusty? Other than that, the gadgets Astro have are practically exclusive to the different secluded planet stages, and they are gifted to you pretty early on, meaning this game encourages you to mess around with the gadgets to find different hidden areas for coins to collect, and many of them are really fun to use. The PlayStation VR headset and timer equipment lets Astro slow down time for a short period, and it's so cool to beat down enemies during slow down time. Astro can use his Chicken Bot as a vertical launching jetpack, while for horizontal travel, dashing into enemies, you can use this cute little pit bull to break glass barriers. You got this mouse ability that lets Astro change size at will, and the Monkey Bot would seem familiar to some players, as this is actually a retooled version of the monkey transformation ability from Playroom. Another gadget introduced early on are the Frog Gloves. These gloves give Astro a longer punching range, and lets him stick onto red surfaces. You can also use Astro's charge attack, and mix that with the Frog Gloves, and you can wipe out enemies at a wider radius. The best part of all of these gadgets are that they're tied to the PlayStation 5's DualSense adapted triggers. Many of the PlayStation 5 games I played so far haven't used this unique controller for some reason, and it felt so relaxing feeling the vibration pressure on these triggers once again. The game consists of 80 levels across 60 galaxies and 50 planets. Shut up, this is different, here's why. Astro Bot doesn't have the anti-gravity mechanic like in Super Mario Galaxy. Instead, the levels in this game feel like a linear sandbox for players to explore. There are many instances where you're guiding Astro from point A to point B, but the game gives you a clear indicators of alternate routes for collecting robots and puzzle pieces for completion. If you happen to miss a robot or a puzzle piece, the game lets you go back to these stages, and upon picking up what you missed, lets you exit the stage without losing your progress. Aside from the main planets that host multiple puzzle pieces and robots, there are also smaller planets that host only one robot. These smaller planets are basically short challenges that test your skills and knowledge of Astro's moveset, how to approach other particular enemies, and how to use some of the gadgets effectively. All planets host these special robots known as VIP robots that serve as references to the history of PlayStation's library of games, not just some of Sony's first-party games, but third-party ones as well. I mentioned Street Fighter earlier, but you got series like Devil May Cry and even Castlevania. Now, going back to what I was a little peeved about Sony saying that they don't have enough IPs to make new games out of. IP standing intellectual property, by the way. Because playing this game is basically Team Asobi, the developers, giving Sony the big middle finger. There are even more franchises being referenced and are given stage side spotlights, where fans of the series would kill to have new games of these franchises in the modern gaming industry. This goes beyond the VIP robots you rescued, as you can also dress up as some of the PlayStation characters within the game's customization suite. Example in the first galaxy. After beating the giant monkey man and save the ninth dimension, you rescue Spike from the PlayStation 1 classic 3D platformer Ape Escape. And for the last stage of the galaxy, you basically become Spike and capture all the monkeys in the stage, similar to the original game, all ending with a quick boss encounter with the game's main villain, Spectre. There are even stages featuring Uncharted, where you dress up as Nathan Drake and explore the ruins to find the next PlayStation 5 part, ending with a chase sequence. You'll visit the world of God of War dressed up as Kratos, and you can use his axe as a boomerang to take out enemies at a far distance. There's even this stage showcasing Horizon Zero Dawn, and it has this wicked cool slowdown sequence when you charge your bow and arrow shot and aim at your target. My favorite PlayStation showcase stages in this game are of course the ones featuring Ape Escape, God of War, and this other one showcasing the PSP classic Loco Roco. And this and Horizon and Uncharted stages utilizes the DualSense's gyroscopic controls very well, with Horizon and Uncharted's gyro controls being used for aiming and shooting, while Loco Roco uses gyro controls as a way to navigate the stage, with Astro as one of the Loco Rocos rolling around and sometimes splitting apart to reach smaller areas. Point being, Sony saying that they don't have any IPs kinda really rubs me the wrong way, as the developers at Team Asobi clearly shows unique ways creating new experiences of these existing PlayStation properties, while using some of the PlayStation 5's unique features in its specs and controls. Like imagine a new Uncharted game swinging across vines and Nathan Drake with the adapted triggers, or a home console Loco Roco game with gyro controls. These showcase stages are so much fun that they make me want to play the original game. But this game really shows that the PlayStation and Sony should really consider looking into newer, unique ways of bringing their old series into the new generation. I want to see more first-party PlayStation games that use the adapted triggers. I don't care about the improved fidelity, cause I can barely tell the difference between the vanilla PS5 and the upcoming PS5 Pro. What was I talking about? Anyways, back to the extra stuff. The PlayStation coins return as currency where you can spend them on the returning gacha machine from Astro's Playroom. For 100 coins a pop, you can collect different accessories for your VIP robots to play around with. And you can go up to them and smack them around to see what they do. You can get this Aku Aku mask for Crash Bandicoot and you can do the Crash Dance with them for an achievement. Watch Ryu and Ken battle things out in an old-fashioned street fight. Meet with Spyro and then watch Astro get burnt. I'm still waiting on that new Spyro game for 2024. Other collectibles at the gacha machine you can nab are these costumes for Astro to dress up in that resemble different PlayStation characters. Those who pre-ordered the game can dress up themselves as either Ratchet or Parappa, while other costumes that I had Astro wear include a badass costume ripped from Bloodborne, Cat from Gravity Rush, and a thieving raccoon himself, Sly Cooper. Worth it. You can even unlock the Safari Room where you can find all the robotic animal creatures you came across, and even find some hidden collectibles too. This room gifts you with the game's camera functionality, where you tap the up button on the D-pad to go into photo mode, and take pictures at either the stage or any of the booth stands Astro can stand behind. All the photos, of course, are stored in your PS5 gallery library. Here are some of the pictures I've taken with this feature. Why not? I'm giving Astro Bot, Astro First Full-Size Adventure, the S rank. This game took me around 3 to 4 days to 100% complete the game, and unlock all the PSN trophies to get that platinum. Not to mention a few extra minutes to unlock the 4 hidden robots in Astro's Playroom. Which leads me to this question. Should people pick up Astro Bot, the game? After playing through the free tech demo Astro's Playroom breaks in between to gather footage, I would argue this game would be well worth it if it were to drop the price down to $40. But that would all depend if you have enough money to spend on the extra digital book and soundtrack from the deluxe edition. You get the soundtrack of the entire game, and you get the neat concept at the Okay, yeah, there's the internet for that. But as an artist, the digital concept art book made the deluxe package, I guess, worth it. If you're a fan of PlayStation, Astro continues that in spades, continuing celebrating the vast library of games featured in multiple PlayStation consoles. One thing that I did notice between Astro's Playroom and Astro Bot was that Playroom loves to celebrate all of Sony and PlayStation's consoles and accessories, while Astro Bot loves to celebrate all of the Sony and other third-party IPs, and its comparison like this is what I like the most. For those who decide to pick up this game and aren't familiar with any of the PlayStation references galore, try out the free tech demo of Astro's Playroom. Both Playroom and Astro Bot play almost the same as one another, and a series of platforming are what drives people into these Astro games. Platforming as Astro is very satisfying to control, and icy, glassy physics don't get in the way of that. Seeing as Astro skates along the ice and feeling each of the glass taps and breaks on the controller. It's a game that celebrates not just PlayStation, but celebrates platformers. It's a game that reminisces of the collectathon platformer of the late 90s and early 2000s, a genre that has been phased out due to the high demands of graphically expensive, story-driven games, like The Last of Us and Cyberpunk. If Sony and PlayStation want their system to succeed, while also bringing in the big bucks, especially after then perhaps they should save their money on creating smaller titles like this one. Games that simply showcase the DualSense's unique features and something that players can relax to, while also being invested in its fun gameplay. But what do I know what people want? I'm just one guy. Would you like to see a sequel to Astro Bot? Or would you like to see Sony create an all-new fun IP similar to Astro? Should Sony continue making expensive story-driven games, or continue working on smaller projects? Let me know in the comments. I'm Christopher James, and I'll see you next time.